السلام عليكم. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed, and I'm happy to take you on continuing the journey, starting the Quran from the very beginning. And we are now in Surah Al-Hud, chapter Al-Hud. And we are in verse 24. We're doing verse 24 to verse 40 of that chapter today. Before we begin, I must always explain that I am not an Arabic scholar nor a Quranic scholar. I'm not a student of Arabic language. In fact, I've learned a lot of Arabic just from this year and a half of reading the Quran. My Arabic has improved tremendously. And I haven't studied the Quran. In fact, this is my first read through the Quran, and I'm sharing my learning experience with you in hopes that you might learn something. But if you see something that you disagree with or have a different perspective on, please feel free to drop a comment. I'm also learning from comments as well. The point of this channel is education, and the point of us is learning. Okay, I used to explain this, but I'm just going to say it before we begin reading Quran. I must always say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Feel free to ask about it if you want. Off we go.
مثل الفريقين كالأعمى والأصم والبصير والسميع هل يستويان مثلا أفلا تذكرون.
Okay, so in the previous verses, we were talking about the disbelievers who lost themselves, who ruined themselves, and all the lies and all the people that the gods that they used to pray to failed them. And then the opposite example was given of those who believe and do good, and they humble themselves. So we're given an example of two different groups, the non-believers and the believers, and this is something that we can kind of apply to today. When I first read this verse, I thought something completely different, and I'll tell you what I thought, but let me explain it first. It says the example of the two parties is like the blind and the deaf versus the one who sees and the one who hears. Are they equal in comparison? Will you not take heed? So when I first read this, because I'd forgotten what we'd reviewed in the start of the week in the previous episode, and I was like, the first thing that I thought of, مثل الفريقين, is the two-party system in America, Democrats versus Republican. Because I saw, the blind and the deaf, and I'm like, okay, they're both the blind and the deaf. But then it gives you the opposite, the ones who see and the ones who hear. So the blind with the seeing and the deaf with the hearing. So then I read the tafsir, and I was like, oh, okay, so the previous verses were talking about the people who believe and do themselves a favor, and the people who don't believe and harm themselves. And that makes a lot more sense than the Democrats and the Republicans. but that was what I first thought of. And that's kind of also, I've noticed something about my own faith and my own life. And my life now, comparison to 3 years ago, it's 3.5 years to 4 years ago, worlds apart. Before I started believing properly for the first time in my life, I really felt like the blind and the deaf, and I didn't know it at the time. I didn't recognize that I was blind and deaf, and it's not just that I found God and I found the Quran and it's like all of a sudden I see and hear, but it kind of is like that. It's this weird, once I stopped harming myself, and once I stopped harming myself through gambling, through substance use, and once I opened up to myself to God's help and essentially asking God for help, that was the key difference. My soul changed, and it didn't change instantly. It took time, and it was like it was reinforced over time. But now my soul is open, and I am a lot more able to follow my instincts and follow my divine intuition and follow just what's good for me. And it's so hard to explain. But it's literally like it's the same world outside. The world hasn't changed, but I've changed. And it's not like the sights have changed. It's just the way that I'm looking at everything. Just I see the music of the universe a little bit better. I hear God in everything that I do and everything that I say. And I'm still more comfortable saying the universe than saying God. But for me, they're synonymous. Whenever I say the universe's plan is coming to motion, I mean God's plan is coming to motion. But I also live in a secular white society, so I'm just more used to saying the universe instead of God. And I find people are more open to receiving it from that. But for me, when I say the universe, I mean God. Because God is the architect, God is everything, God is the plan. And yeah, so if you can compare the two teams, the two parties, as even me, Ahmad, as 4 years ago versus Ahmad now, and the two people are wildly different. My relationship with myself, my relationship with my friends, my relationship with my family, my relationship with strangers, everything has improved. And it feels like I can think, I can see, I can hear, and it's insane. It's insane how much of a difference it makes. And all you had to do was ask for help. Even if you are struggling with faith, praying for faith is the surefire way to get it. You know, all you have to do is ask and open yourself up, and suddenly you can see and you can hear. And it's amazing. It's miraculous. Subhanallah.
ولقد أرسلنا نوحا إلى قومه إني لكم نذير مبين.
And now we get into the story of Noah. Noah is mentioned a lot in the Quran, but this is the first time that we really get into what is the story of Noah, what are the challenges that he faced, what was he doing, what was the ark. So it starts with saying, and we sent Noah to his people. Indeed, I am for you a warner that is clear. And that's always been the role of the prophets and the messengers. It's not been to make people believe, but it's been to share the message and share the warning. And that is something that you see. That is something that you see with all of them.
ألا تعبدوا إلا الله إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم أليم.
And what is the warning that they all give, all the prophets and the messengers, that you do not worship anyone except God. And then he continues by saying, I am afraid for you for a torment, a punishment on a day that is painful. And this can mean multiple things. This could be, in Noah's case, it was a physical pain that they experienced in the earthly realm, as well as the eternal pain that they faced in the afterlife, on a day that's painful. So usually when they say a painful day, we kind of assume Judgment Day, we kind of assume the end of times. But in many cases, God does enact judgment upon people in the forms of floods, in the forms of famine, in the forms of whatever way he wishes. Sometimes in the form of people. People deliver God's justice, as we saw in the previous chapter, the Surah At-Tawbah. Yeah. So what did they say to him?
قال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه ما نراك إلا بشرا مثلنا وما نراك اتبعك إلا الذين هم أراذلنا بادي الرأي وما نرى لكم علينا من فضل بل نظنكم كاذبين.
I also have to say the person who's reciting the Quran, beautiful. I mean, hearing it just brings me peace. He has a very beautiful voice. Okay, so the chief said the chiefs of those who disbelieved said from his people, we do not see you except as a man. The irony is, Noah is a man. I mean, they're trying to say that you're just a man. You're not a prophet. You're not a messenger. But a man is a prophet and a messenger. And if anything, the prophets and messengers were specifically men. But it doesn't say man. It says as human. Only as a human being. It doesn't say man. Sorry, I was translating it just based off of what I read there. إلا بشرا. You're just a human. And that's true. They're human. They're not gods. They're not angels. They're not demons. They're human. They're just like all of us. But they've been given a mission and a guidance from God. So like all of us. So exactly. That's exactly what they are, which is the ironic. And they're saying, you're only human. Like us. And we're like, yeah. And then they continue saying, and we do not see you, we do not see those who follow you except those who are the lowest of us in immature opinion and like badi al-ra'i, those who are like, they're saying that the dumbest, the most immature of us are the ones that follow you. You know, the ones who believe. And this is constantly the struggle that people who believe have to deal with, is those that don't believe are like, oh, you're so stupid, you believe all those things, you're so dumb. Anyway, and we do not see for you over us in any merit. So the chiefs are saying, we don't see you and the believers are any better than us, but instead, nay, we think of you as liars. Very clear what their perspective is of Noah and the believers.
قال يا قوم أرأيتم إن كنت على بينة من ربي وآتاني رحمة من عنده فعميت عليكم أنلزمكموها وأنتم لها كارهون.
I will never not be frustrated when he stops in the middle of a verse and repeats it. Anyway, he said, "Oh my people, did you see that I was on clear proof from my Lord, and he has given me his mercy from himself?" I don't quite understand what this clear proof is, but he must have given them a clear proof at the time. He must have had a miracle or something. I mean, this part, he has given me mercy from himself. This I can understand, and I mean, I can easily say that God has given me mercy, and I can give 101 examples as to why God has given me mercy. But that doesn't usually help people believe or see. The clear proof is what I'm more interested in. I wonder what Noah's clear proof was. And he was giving me a mercy. And then he continues to say, so it has been obscured for you, فَعُمِّيَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ, so it has been made blind for you. And then it says, so should we compel you while you are averse to it, while you hate it? It's interesting that it says فَعُمِّيَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ, so it has been obscured for you. And is that tied to the mercy that he has received from God and the clear proof? I'm not sure, but I think there is a connection, because fa usually means in fa'umiyat. The fa is the first letter. Yeah. So I feel like somehow the mercy was what made them blind to it. But then the question that's asked at the end of the verse is very important and very interesting. Should we compel you to accept it while you hate it? Karihun. Karihun means to hate it. You will hate it specifically. And this kind of is like the main philosophy and the main perspective of what these verses are trying to tell us. Should we force you to believe? Should God force you to believe? And the whole point of the Quran and everything and the messages and all that's being said is that no, we will not force anyone to believe. Everyone has the free will to help themselves or hurt themselves, and it is entirely up to them. So the rhetorical question of should we force you even though you hate it is something that we don't do. and it has been made blind to you. That's something that we can see, and it's kind of tying back to the first verse of the two teams, one that sees and one that is blind, and they are absolutely blind to the guidance.
ويا قوم لا أسألكم عليه مالا إن أجري إلا على الله وما أنا بطارد الذين آمنوا إنهم ملاقو ربهم ولكني أراكم قوما تجهلون.
Okay. So Noah continues saying, "Oh, my people, I do not ask of you for it any money, any wealth. I'm not asking you a payment for what I'm telling you. I'm telling you for free. In ajriya illa. Oh, my reward, my compensant, only my reward is except from God. I'm only expecting a reward from God. I'm not expecting a reward from you. I don't need you to give me anything. I'm just giving you this message for free. And I am not going to drive away those who believed." And the way that the next verses seem to indicate, it sounds like there was a conversation between the chiefs and Noah. And they told him that you have to kick out the believers. They are causing us trouble. That's what I understood from the context coming through. So he says, I will not drive away those who believe. Indeed, they will be meeting their Lord. This is why he won't throw them out. Those who believe will be meeting their Lord. I would never harm those who are going to meet their Lord. Essentially, that's what I'm saying. But I see you as a people that are ignorant, that are acting ignorant. So here we're seeing kind of a divide between the people of Noah and the believers, and the chiefs and the ones who are telling him, kick out the weak who believe in what you're saying. And Noah saying, I will not kick them out. I will not get rid of them. But you are the problem. You are the ignorant.
ويا قوم من ينصرني من الله إن طردتهم أفلا تذكرون.
And he says, "Oh, my people, who is going to help me against God if I drove them away? If I kicked them out of the village, who's going to protect me from God? I can't. God's stronger. God is greater. Why would I? No. Are you going to save me? Ain't nobody going to save me." So, أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ? Will you not then be mindful? Will you not take heed? Will you not take heed? Very clear.
ولا أقول لكم عندي خزائن الله ولا أعلم الغيب ولا أقول إني ملك ولا أقول للذين تزدري أعينكم لن يؤتيهم الله خيرا الله أعلم بما في أنفسهم إني إذا لمن الظالمين.
So, here he says, it's going to kind of, it showcases as great a man as Noah was, he was very humble. And he knew what his role was, and he knew that he was there to warn them. And he says, and I do not say to you, with me are the treasures of God. I'm not telling you that I have the treasures of God. And I do not know the unseen. I don't have knowledge of things beyond my capacity. And I do not say that I am a king, malakun, an angel. That's an interesting. I do not claim to be an angel. It's also kind of similar to the word king. But I think malakun, melik, it's a slight annotation. Malakun means an angel. And I'm not claiming that I'm an angel. Again, that ties back to the previous verse, which they said, we see you as a human. And he goes, yeah. And I do not say for those look down with their eyes. I do not say about those who look away or look down or don't listen to me that God will never give them any good. I'm not saying that if you don't believe or don't listen to me, then God won't give you goodness. I'm not saying that at all. And then he explains by saying God knows best what is in their souls. And I find this as a beautiful, beautiful phrase, because it's not saying disbelieve and get bad things. Many disbelievers get good things, and for multiple reasons. Some it's being used as a test, some because God knows that down the line they're going to believe and they're going to help, and this is what's in their souls. So God is helping them at a stage even before they believe, because God knows that they are going to become something that is going to help. So it's very beautiful because it shows that the mercy of God even comes down to those that don't believe just yet. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope in those who still haven't got there. Jenny Mia, hello, how are you? I'm good. I'm reading Quran. Oh God, okay, she's a bot. Go away. Indeed, if I was to say any of those things, or if any of those things were to happen, then I would surely be one of the wrongdoers. I would surely be, and here it's not said if I did, but it is understood. Then I would be one of the wrongdoers. So he says, I do not do this, I do not do this, I do not say this, I do not claim this. But it says, then I would be truly one of the wrongdoers. Yeah, clear.
قالوا يا نوح قد جادلتنا فأكثرت جدالنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين.
Okay, so what do they say? They say the same thing that we've heard time and time again from all the disbelievers. They said, "Oh Noah, indeed you've argued with us, and you've increased. You've been arguing with us all the time. You've disputed with us all the time, far too much. You know what? Bring us what you're promising, what you're threatening us. If you are of the truthful, if you're telling the truth, bring us your torment, bring us your pain. We're tired of talking to you. Come on, bring the suffering. Let's go. Where is it?" And again, we've seen this time and time again, and usually the response is, "Don't you guys worry. the torment is coming. I just have to wait." But we do see in the next verses that their punishment is coming, and it's coming quick.
قال إنما يأتيكم به الله إن شاء وما أنتم بمعجزين.
His responses, and he said, yes, the God will bring it upon you if he wills, bring upon you the torment, the pain, the thing that you're asking for, and you will not be able to escape it. If you know the story of Noah, you know what torment is coming.
ولا ينفعكم نصحي إن أردت أن أنصح لكم إن كان الله يريد أن يغويكم هو ربكم وإليه ترجعون.
Okay. And he says, and it will not help you, my advice will not help you, will not benefit you. Even if I would try to give you advice for you, if God is the one that wants you to be led astray. And here, I've always struggled with the idea that God causes people to be led astray, because I felt like that's not fair. That's not good. But the moral lesson is God knows the difference between good and bad, between those who are going to help. And this, we saw it in the previous example. Some of those that don't believe and some of those that don't listen and avert their eyes, God still takes care of them because he believes that they will believe, and he knows that he doesn't have to believe. And there are some people that God knows, no, they're not going to get it. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, God has said that you're going astray, you're going astray. And this is what Noah is saying. So even though it felt hard to say that God was causing people to be led astray, it's my trust in God's judgment that makes it okay. That God knows what's in your soul and in your soul's future, and he knows who should be led astray and who should not. And here it continues by saying, he is your Lord, and to him you will be returned. Again, it's that we all belong to God, and God can choose to do with us what he pleases, because God knows best and we do not. And that's kind of the main lesson of humanity, right? Is to learn how to trust God. The fall of Adam and Eve from heaven was the lack of trust in God. And this hard life that we face is, can we gain that trust in God given how difficult life can be? You know?
أم يقولون افتراه قل إن افتريته فعلي إجرامي وأنا بريء مما تجرمون.
Beautiful. I love the person who's reciting. It's amazing. Now here they translate it with the Quran, which I think misses the whole point of this verse. It says, or do they say that he has invented it? And again, we've been talking about Noah before this verse. We'll be talking about Noah after this verse. So it's safe to assume this verse is talking about Noah. Okay, I just have to block somebody. Block. Okay, cool. Oh, now it's stuck. I'll deal with it later. Yeah. So they said, did he invent it? And here they've translated to the Quran because they're like, oh, this is something that is said about the Prophet Muhammad quite a lot. Therefore, it must be talking about the Quran. But I'm like, you can also apply it to Noah. Like, both of them, by the way, peace be upon both of them, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yeah. Or do they say that he invented it? And this is very clear. And it's also, it can apply to the Prophet Muhammad. I'm not saying it can't. I think it does apply to the Prophet Muhammad. But it also applies to Noah. Because they're saying that he invented God and he invented this punishment that is going to happen. And then the response for Noah, for the Prophet Muhammad, is, if I have invented it, then on me is my crime, and I am innocent of what crimes you commit. And I love the way that the person reciting the Quran, said it, because it was like, it was so sad. Like, it's really, I no longer associate with what you do. I'm a walk my path and you walk your path, and your path is criminal. And it's, yeah, it was just, it evoked a feeling of sadness in me, because, and we'll see over the next couple of verses why it's sad for the Prophet Noah.
وأوحي إلى نوح أنه لن يؤمن من قومك إلا من قد آمن فلا تبتئس بما كانوا يفعلون.
Yeah, and here's why it's sad for the Prophet Noah. It was revealed, Uhiya, again, it's revealed to Noah in a way that was only revealed to him. To Noah, that they will never believe from your people will never believe except those who had already believed. إِلَّا مَنْ قَدْ آمَنَ. So those who didn't believe are never going to believe, and those who believed, they're fine, they're good. But those who didn't believe, they're not going to believe. So do not be distressed by what they are doing. And again, this is why the previous verse is talking about Noah as well, because it's the whole section's about Noah, so it doesn't make sense that we start talking about something else. But anyway, and here's the reason why it's sad, is because Noah obviously loves his people, and Noah wants all of his people to be fine and to believe and to be saved from the torment. And he's clearly distressed by the fact that some of them are not going to believe and they're going to suffer. And he doesn't want them to suffer, you know? God is saying, don't be distressed.
واصنع الفلك بأعيننا ووحينا ولا تخاطبني في الذين ظلموا إنهم مغرقون.
This also paints a very interesting picture of the relationship of Noah and God. So here it says, and build the ship and construct the ship under our eyes and our inspiration and our guidance. And then God says something very interesting. And do not talk to me about those who have done wrong. Which indicates what? A, that Noah was almost in a way arguing with God, in a way kind of constantly talking to God and be like, but how do we save them? But they can believe, but if you just showed, but if this, and it feels like God is saying, stop addressing me. And we assume this is God. It could be maybe the angels that kind of delivered the message, but for sake of explanation, it's God that was communicating with Noah. Because it says, do not address me, instead of do not address us. But it could be an angel saying, do not address me. Either way, you can see this dynamic of Noah consistently asking, but what about those people? I know they don't believe, but there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. And eventually, here it's saying, don't talk to me about those who did wrong. Don't. Do not preach for them. I'm telling you, they're beyond help. They are indeed the ones to be drowned. And again, it ties us into the punishment that they received in this world, which is still very possible. But yeah, it's very sad. But it's also, it talks about Noah and his frustration with trying to save the people that will not believe. Sad, but true.
ويصنع الفلك وكلما مر عليه ملأ من قومه سخروا منه قال إن تسخروا منا فإنا نسخر منكم كما تسخرون.
And while he was constructing the ship, the ark, and every time it passed upon him one of the chiefs from his people, they ridiculed him. They started making fun of him. So he said, if you make fun of me, then we make fun of you, as you are making fun of us. Which is petty, and I love it. You know what? You making fun of me? No, boo-boo. You the dum-dum. And this is something that I love doing. I love... If someone's an asshole to me, I'm nice to everybody, but if someone's intentionally mean to me or intentionally bad to me, I go, ooh, time for me to give you exactly what you deserve, exactly what you given, ha-ha. I'm going to be mean back, because I love being mean back. And I use the word petty, which is a negative connotation of an eye for an eye or a thing for a thing. But apparently, this is Noah. This is, the one who saved all the believers and reset the world. If he's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. You know what I'm saying? I love this. You gonna make fun of us? No, we gonna make fun of you, boo boo. You dum dum. You dum dum. I'm gonna call you a dum dum for sure. Especially for those that antagonize us and attack us, we're allowed to antagonize them. Essentially, we're not gonna rise above it. We're gonna give them just what it's called. Just desserts. Just desserts is giving someone exactly what they deserve.
فسوف تعلمون من يأتيه عذاب يخزيه ويحل عليه عذاب مقيم.
This is a bit scary. Because, yeah, at first it was you mock us, we mock you. And then it says, and then soon you will know who will come to him a punishment, a torture, a torment that will disgrace him. Like, it's beyond ridicule at this point. It's beyond you. It's this you about to be devastated. And it will descend upon them a punishment that is lasting. Like, that's not a joke. Yes, we can make fun of you too, but what's coming ain't gonna be funny. And I think it's important for us to always keep that in mind. Whew. I can feel the pain of Noah telling to his chiefs, you gonna make fun of us, I'm gonna make fun of you, but at the same time, like, you're really gonna get messed up. Like, this is not, I know we're joking, you're making fun of me and I'm making fun of you, but you're really going to suffer. So, like, I feel the pain of Noah,
حتى إذا جاء أمرنا وفارت النور قل نحمل فيها من كل زوجين اثنين وأهلك إلا من سبق عليه القول وما آمن معه إلا قليل.
Okay, and the last verse for today is until it came to them our command, and what, tanur? The oven? Is that what it's called? I thought it was the name of the river. I kind of had a feeling it was the name of the river, but it said overflowed. It said the oven overflowed, but we know it was water that overflowed because he built the ark. I feel like El Tanur was a river. It makes more sense than the meaning of it is the oven. But it could be like, yeah, oven doesn't sound like the right word. It feels like it's a name of something. But anyway, it overflowed, and we said to Noah, load in it of every pair, 2. And here we understand the pairs being the male and female of the species, so that they can kind of procreate, because that's the story of Noah, that, the males and the females were all on the boat of all the animals, so that they can kind of procreate and create children, yada, 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 and repopulate the earth. But it says of every pair, Zawjain 2. So there's room for expansion beyond the idea of male and female, but I don't have any evidence to suggest that. And your family. So put pairs of everything and your family, except who has preceded upon them the word. So the word that Noah is telling them there's only one God, you have to believe in God. But not just from those who were given the word, but whoever believed. So they had to be given the word, and they had to be given to believe. Which makes me ask the question, if maybe there are some people or some entities that weren't given the word, and maybe that's kind of an exception. But here it says, وَأَهْلُكَ, so it says from your family, except who has proceeded against him the word, and who has believed. So I find it interesting, except those whom to decree, the decree has already been passed, and إِلَّا مَنْ سَبَقَ عَلَيْهِ الْقَوْلِ. Okay, so here they translated, except those who سَبَقَ عَلَيْهِ الْقَوْلِ, which means they're saying the decree is passing upon them, like that they're going to drown has passed upon them. But the way that I understand it makes more sense, except for those who have been given, that there's only one God, the word, and whoever believed from those people is what I understand. Maybe I could be wrong. It's clear for those who believed is the key, and except for those who has preceded in him the word. And for me, when I read it the first time, I thought that this meant that those who were not preceded with the word were somehow spared. But I have no evidence to suggest that. The key here is that only take from your family those who believed and who had preceded upon them the word. And unfortunately, and nobody believed with him except for a few, which is why Noah was very sad. And as he should be, and as we all are. Obviously, we want everybody to be okay and everybody to be fine, but not everybody's going to be okay. And it is sad, and it's okay to feel sad. And that concludes our session today. So as usual, we always end with Sadaqallahu al-Ali al-Azim, and I'll explain it if you ask for it. But that's it. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Quran. I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys when I see you next. Ma'as salama. Bye.